Hello and welcome to Soccer Good Games. Just finished West Ham United 1, Brighton 1. That was pretty crap. A very low entertaining game from two poor sides, really. I think both sides came into this game in pretty poor form between them. And I think we've seen that, especially the first 45. It was pretty scrappy. There wasn't much to shout about, but we're going to discuss it anyway. Thank you very much for joining me. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. It's completely free and takes 2 seconds. And also do drop a like on the video as well by clicking the thumbs up. Anyway, when the lineups came out, I was quite happy with the West Ham lineup. It sort of picks itself a little bit, which is worrying when you already had a decent enough core of a squad to start with. You go into the summer transfer window, you spend nearly 150 million. And then at this point in the season, most players are available. We're missing one in particular, really. Obviously, Michael Antonio as well. But we're not really missing many players. It feels like the team doesn't have many options, if that makes sense. So it's a bit of a strange and not a good situation that we're in. But when the lineup came out, when Fulkrug was starting, I was pretty pleased about it, to be honest with you. I thought, right, here we go. Let's see what he's got, because I thought he looked okay against Bournemouth. He looked rusty, but I thought he looked like a striker. And I thought in the first half against Bournemouth, we were missing just somebody being in the box properly. My word, he might as well have not played today. That first 45 from him, he looked a little bit unfit as well as unbothered, actually. But saying that, the way that we played didn't help. We're just hoofing the ball quite a lot. And, possession would suggest we got the ball down and played it around. I didn't really feel like that when I was watching it. I felt like we were quite keen to go long and just smash it at Fulkrug, and he didn't really have much of a chance. But he didn't. I was pretty disappointed by what I seen from him, and not just him, just us in general today. I thought we might miss Carlos Soler coming into today's game, and I definitely feel like that when I was watching it. I thought we were struggling to get much control of the game in the middle of the pitch. I thought our midfield was pretty crap, to be honest with you. Individually and collectively, I don't think we had a great game in there. But anyway, the first 45, I can't really recall much major highlights to discuss, to be honest with you. I don't recall getting towards Brighton's goal all that much. Jared Bowen had a shot on target from an incredibly acute angle, which was easily enough saved by Verbergen. But at the same time, I don't really recall Brighton causing us too much bother down the other end of the pitch either. So went in 0-0 at half-time, and it was essentially two poor teams playing poorly against each other. It was a very scrappy first half of football. I didn't enjoy it. I was hoping we'd be a bit better than that. Kudus was out on the left side. I didn't enjoy seeing him out there again. Defense, Mavropanos. I mean, he was a bit unlucky. Mavropanos got booked for Baliba kicking Van Heck in the head. But then he decides to start dribbling out from the defense with knocking it 6 yards and running after it, and then starting to grab a couple of players on the way back despite being on a yellow card. So he's suspended for the game against Southampton. Lucas Paqueta got booked in the first half. He's suspended for the game against Southampton. So while we welcome back Carlos Soler, 2 players are now suspended for the next fixture. And there remains a threat for Guido Rodriguez and Thomas Soucek. They're both on 4 yellow cards for the season as well. So discipline's something that's not great at West Ham this season thus far. Coming out of the second half, we made one change at half-time. Mavropanos came off and Tadibo went on. Kind of had to happen, to be honest with you. I think Mavropanos was terrifying a lot of us, and on a yellow card, so that change had to. I would have made another one. What I would have done, I'm not sure, because there was that many contenders to come off. I think Fulkrug was one of them. I don't think Kudus was playing very well, but I think he needed moved rather than substituted. I don't think Paqueta had his best game, but I don't think his worst game. I think Thomas Soucek had one of those weird games where he's there, but you don't really notice him too much. So I think there was quite a few candidates you could have taken off. I would have taken Somerville on, though. I would have brought Somerville on at half-time and just try to get a bit of energy into the team. I felt like we were just lacking much about us today, but even just the effort level seemed a little bit low from both sides, not just West Ham. But anyway, 5 minutes into the second half, and it was 1-0 Brighton. Poor from Lucas Fabianski, absolutely poor. Cross from Stupinian to Lewis Dunk. Now, the one thing I will say, and it's just a tongue-in-cheek, bit of a whinge, but there's an element of truth about it, okay? That's kind of what Thomas Souček did at Leicester, and the goal got ruled out, right? Thomas Souček just sort of collided, not much in it, brushed the goalkeeper, and it was enough to give the free kick to Hermansen, the Leicester City goalkeeper. I don't think it's a free kick, by the way. I think this is a perfectly legitimate goal by Brighton today. Ball comes in, Lewis Dunk's just stronger than Fabianski, falls to Wieffer. Nice finish from him, to be fair. What's also concerning is the fact that a cross came in and Lewis Dunk's unmarked at the back post. The only person marking Lewis Dunk is our goalkeeper. What's that all about? There's absolutely no awareness of where Lewis Dunk is. Poor from Fabianski, weak from Fabianski, and then there was a decent finish from him, and it was 1-0 Brighton. I don't feel like it was a deserved lead by Brighton. Like I said, I think they were bad. We were also bad. Two crap teams today. But they only had the lead for 5 or 6 minutes, and then it was 1-1 through Kudus. Now, we had made a change at this point. Somerville had come on. Bowen moved up front. Kudus went over on the right-hand side, and that sort of helped us get the equaliser. Fantastic ball from Thomas Souček. While I say Thomas Souček wasn't great, I stand by that. But the pass was brilliant. Just not quite Yuri Tielemans against Manchester City, but just straight as an arrow. But that's what Jared Bowen wants. He's on his bike. He's away, takes it into his stride. Good running on goal. Does well to get his shot away, I think. He's crowded out Bowen, but he does well just to get a shot. Comfortable enough save, but quite a poor save because he pushes it back into a bit of a danger area, and it's a good header by Kudus. It's well chased up by him. 1-1. And you're thinking it's that easy. Brighton have been a little bit suspect at the defense at the back recently, but we didn't test them at all really in the first half, and it was frustrating to watch. And it felt like it's not that difficult to penetrate this Brighton defense, but we weren't going to go on and do it again, really. 1-1 at this point, and I think the last 20 minutes we made substitutions with 20 minutes to go, and it's quite disappointing to see. I feel like I am pleased that we're bringing an academy player on in Ollie Scarles. I'm not away to criticise the fact that we're bringing a youth player on, although I have to say he does look a little bit inexperienced at the minute, which is going to happen. He got caught out a few times with Minte running in behind him. He's going to learn. He's going to have to learn on the job. I'm pleased to see him being involved. However, when you see him and Soufal come on, you know what's the way to happen, which is switch to a back three, back five, however you want to word it. It's hard not to go, because you know we're going to sit back further and further and invite Brighton on more and more. And I appreciate that then it could open the pitch up and we've got Somerville, Bowen and Kudus running in the opposite direction. And at one point that almost came true, but Somerville took the shot on when, well, there's two better options for him. He had Bowen on his left, Kudus on his right, and decided to take the shot on. It was well blocked by Brighton's defence. But when you're just inviting on the pressure, it is frustrating to watch because Brighton are a good team, but they haven't won in their last 4 games. Within those 4 games, there was draws to Leicester and Southampton. This is not a good team we're playing at the minute. Good players, but not a good team. And it felt like we were just a little bit afraid of them 20 minutes ago. That's all right. That'll do us. We'll take the draw. Thank you very much. And I was disappointed by that attitude shown by Lopetegui today. I wasn't too happy with it because I felt like as the game played out after those subs, that was what we were doing. We were just trying to see out the draw and make sure we got it. And we almost lost it. Minte with his ball across the face of goal. Matoma somehow unable to stab home from half a yard out. Fabianski with a couple of really good saves in the closing stages of that game as well. He was man of match last week against Bournemouth, possibly man of match today. I think the only thing stopping him being man of match is that he's at fault for their first goal. Not the only one, but I think he's had the biggest part to play, certainly, in Brighton's opener today. So it finished 1-1, and I think it was maybe a fair result over the course of 90 minutes. I think if either team was slightly better, it would be Brighton, but not because they were good, just because we were a bit more crap than they were. But in terms of, it's a good result. Okay, it's not the worst result in the world. It's all right. 5 points from Wolves and Brighton at home and Bournemouth away. It's a decent return. If we can go and beat Southampton on Boxing Day, that's a really good set of 4 fixtures that we've got. To get 8 points out of those 4 games would be really good. But it does put pressure on you to go get that win on Boxing Day. But the performance, it wasn't very good today. I think we were missing Carlos Soler. I do think he would have made a difference, but I'm not sure he would have made such a significant difference that we would have won or we would have enjoyed it a little bit more. I think a lot of the issues which we've seen earlier on this season, at the start of the season, still remain. We can't defend to save our lives at the minute. Well, I say at the minute, all season we've been unable to defend. We brought in a £50 million right back and 2 £40 million centre backs. Now, whether Lopetegui wants to play Todibo or wants to scrap Todibo, it doesn't really matter. We've spent 95 million, or we've spent 55 and committed a further 40 on 3 defenders. And the defence hasn't got any better compared to last season. And our goalkeeper's gone back to the one it was before last season. And that needs changed. That needs sorted. Unless we sort how to defend, we're going to struggle to pick up wins in this Premier League. It's as simple as that. Brighton have been poor at finishing for quite some games now, and we're lucky that they were again today and they weren't making the most of their opportunities, because you just have to run at our defence. We just cannot defend anything. We're crap at it. We're not creating much going forward either in terms of open play. I didn't realise until we had a corner early on. I said, "Oh, West Ham fans will be excited here. The last 5 goals have come from a set piece." I didn't even realise that our last 5 goals have come from set pieces. It's not great. I like being good at set pieces. I just don't like relying on them. Now, we've gone and scored from open play today, but it's not good enough. It's just really not good enough. When are we going to see better performances and better results off the back of it as well? You can't really see it on the horizon. I thought we were decent enough in the first 45 against Bournemouth. That was it. The second half, I thought they were the better team. Today, it wasn't really good. Unless we're coming up against a crap team or an average team playing crap, we're going to struggle to pick up 3 points in a match. It needs fixed. I don't think it will be fixed. In terms of individual players, I think Kilman had a good game, which was pleasing, because I think he had a couple of shaky games not too long ago. I thought he was a little bit ropey. So to see him have a strong performance today was pleasing. Wan-Bissaka had another really good performance today. Fantastic clearance right at the death as well. I thought Alvarez had a decent game in there, but the other part of the midfield was crap. I think Emerson was quite quiet. Fabianski, like I said, good 89 minutes, just that 1 minute where he was terrible at. But the attack, this is why I'm not against selling Kudus in January, because we're never going to see the best of him at West Ham. Play him on the left side, then we put him out on the right, and he looks good, gets his goal, but we can't play him there. That's Jared Bowen's position. The conundrum still continues. Can you get the best out of Jared Bowen and Mohammed Kudus? And it's easier now. I'll tell you why it's easier now compared to a year ago, 18 months ago. Because 18 months ago, the question was, can you get the best out of Lucas Paqueta, Jared Bowen, and Mohammed Kudus? Because at that time, Paqueta was playing really well. It was only a year ago, he got 3 assists against Wolves in a game of football. So it was almost like we had 3 star players. Can you get the best out of them? And the answer was no. But I do think at times we got the best out of 2 of them. But now, today, I don't think you need to get the best out of Paqueta anymore, because he's not been doing it for so long. Actually, push him to one side and just focus on Kudus and Jared Bowen. Can you get the best out of those 2 players? He's not even getting the best out of one of them. It's incredibly frustrating, because I think we've got some good talent at this team, but we're not really seeing any of them playing to the best of their abilities. I appreciate I'm having a little bit of a rant here as if we've just got beat and we've drawn. Like I said, I think it's decent result, drawn against Brighton. It's not the end of the world. I'm not upset about drawing today's game. I'm more upset about the lack of performance, the lack of positivity when I'm watching it, thinking this is really good. I like what we're doing here. There's none of that. It's frustrating. We need to. Anyway, like I said, we get some smitherings of positivity from Lopetegui's tactics, and they're just gone like that. Hopefully, given that we've got Southampton next and Carlos Soler returns, and I actually think Paqueta and Maripano's being suspended might actually be a good thing, because it's going to force his hand a little bit and say, well, you can't play them. So now what you're going to do? I think Paqueta coming out of the team is not the worst thing in the world. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Not good. This is why when we beat Wolves and we drew against Bournemouth, I was like, whoa, I'm not convinced that this guy can turn it around. I remain completely convinced he won't turn it around. I'm hoping for something. I want him to change my mind. I want West Ham to win. I want West Ham to play well. And I want to sit here and say, do you know what? He smashed it today, Lopetegui. Love what he just done. I just don't think I'll ever feel like that today. Feel like that. There's just nothing. We're missing a lot at the minute. And that was just another terrible performance. And that was a crap game today for the neutral, crap game for Brighton fans, and a crap game for West Ham fans as well. And I think both teams and both sets of fan bases would be well within the rights to expect better than what they're serving up at the minute. 90 minutes of just crappy, scrappy football. And a result which I think reflected that ultimately. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and disappear. There's my grumblings from the 90 minutes at London Stadium today. If you haven't already done so, please do drop a like on it by clicking the thumbs up, subscribing to Hammer's Chat. And it's nearly Christmas, but I shall catch up with you all before the big day, and we will be live on Christmas Day as always. So you're kicking around later on Christmas Day and you've got nothing to do, you're just fed up of spending the time with relatives, we'll be live on this channel, and I've got a special guest for you all, which I know you're going to enjoy. Anyway, I'll catch up with you in a bit.